All right, so you want to talk ancient origins of fungi. We're going deep, way further back than the dinosaurs.
Yeah, forget T-Rex. Fungi might be even older. We're talking serious time.
Hundreds of millions of years, maybe even pushing a billion. Makes you wonder about the oldest stuff, right? What about those things they found in South Africa encased in lava bubbles? 2.4 billion years
That's
old.
wild, isn't it? Really makes you rethink early life.
2.4 billion. So are we looking at like the granddaddy of all fungi?
That's the million-dollar question. They look like mycelia, those thread networks that make up a fungus, but proving it with something that old,
Yeah.
especially in lava, that's tough.
Like reading a whisper from, what, the dawn of time?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Getting solid chemical proof is almost impossible to faint.
Wow, a whisper from the dawn of time. Okay, so South Africa's a maybe. What about those potential fungi from Canada?
Right. Those go back a billion years.
Yeah.
Still needs more research, but
Yeah.
exciting, right?
Hmm.
What if we're just scratching the surface of how long they've been around?
It's like peeling back time, layer by layer. But let's get concrete. You mentioned mycelia. What about those fossilized ones in the Democratic Republic of Congo? 715 million years old.
Now, that's a find. 715 million, that's the Proterozoic eon, a totally different Earth. Mostly microorganisms, not the forests we know.
Like picturing another planet, what they actually dig up, what did these ancient mycelia look like?
Tiny filaments, just a few micrometers thick.
Yeah.
But they were in this branching pattern, and that's key. Not just simple bacteria, something more complex making these networks.
So, no dinos, no trees as we know them. This is alien. What was the environment even like?
Think vast, shallow lake teeming with algae, bacteria. That's where these mycelia were, preserved in rock layers.
Thriving in this alien world, what were they even eating if there were barely any plants?
Good point. No plants to decompose yet. They were probably munching on bacteria, algae, the recyclers of their time.
Keeping things running even back then. Paving the way almost. Speaking of paving the way, fast forward a bit,
Cool.
life's getting on land, and that's where we meet those giant mushrooms, right?
You got it. The Devonian period, about 400 million years ago, enter prototaxites, the giant fungus that ruled the landscape.
I gotta admit, giant mushroom makes me think, like, fantasy novel. How big are we talking here?
Not your average portobello. These things were up to 8 meters high, over a meter wide. Imagine these towering trunks everywhere, dwarfing the first little plants.
8 meters taller than a giraffe. That's a forest I can't even picture. But how do we miss what they were for so long?
They are just so weird. For years, scientists thought they were trees or some ancient conifers. It took microscopes, chemical analysis, the whole shebang to crack the code.
Wait, they thought a giant mushroom was a tree? Seriously, what was the giveaway?
It was a few things. They looked closer, saw this network of tubes inside, like the hyphae in fungi today. But the clincher, they found chitin.
Chitin, that's
Yeah.
bug stuff, right?
Yeah, it's in their exoskeletons,
Yeah.
but it's also in fungal cell walls. Gives them structure. Finding that's when prototaxites went from tree to fungus.
Okay, let me get this straight. Millions of years ago, giant mushrooms, bigger than like a bus, were just chilling, being the biggest things around. That's wild. It makes you wonder what else is out there, you know?
You're telling me. And the funny thing is, even today, fungi still have these surprises up their sleeve. Like, have you heard of the humongous fungus?
Okay, you got to tell me more about that. That's a name that needs a story.
So picture this.
Hmm.
One giant honey mushroom, Armillaria asoyae, stretching over, get this, 2,385 acres. Bigger than some cities. That's in eastern Oregon, the largest organism on Earth, they think.
Wait, bigger than a blue whale. Okay, hold up. There's a fungus that big just hanging out somewhere.
It's true. We only see the mushrooms themselves, the fruiting bodies. The real action is underground, this huge network of mycelia spreading out.
Like some kind of sci-fi thing, those threads just going and going. It's making me think of those ancient mycelia we talked about way back. Any connection?
You're sharp. The humongous fungus, it shows us how big, how long-lasting these mycelial networks can get. Like those ancient ones were vital back then. This thing in Oregon, it's a huge part of its ecosystem now.
So what's it doing? Besides taking up all that space, how's it affecting the forest?
Remember how we said those old mycelia might have eaten bacteria, algae? This one's got a similar game plan, but it's mycorrhizal.
Mycorrhizal. Okay, I know I've heard that, but remind me.
Basically, it teams up with tree roots. It's a partnership, a mycorrhizal association, super common, super important for ecosystems everywhere.
So both sides benefit, kind of like a trade deal going on?
Exactly. The fungus, with its mycelia network, it's like the ultimate prospector. Finds nutrients, phosphorus, nitrogen, all the good stuff plants need,
Mm-hmm.
delivers it right to the tree roots.
Fungus delivery service, I like it. And in return, the trees give.
Sugar, glucose, their payment for the service. Photosynthesis provides it, fungus gets fed, trees get nutrients, everybody wins.
But it's more than just food, right? It's like this network connecting the
You're
trees.
hitting on something big, the wood wide web, they call it. Trees actually communicate through these networks, share resources, even warn each other about danger.
Hold on, trees are talking. Okay, I'm in. How does that work?
Think of it like chemical signals, messages sent through those underground cables. A tree gets stressed, maybe bugs are attacking, or there's a drought. It releases these chemicals into the network.
Like a little tree SOS.
Exactly. And the other trees, they pick it up. They can then boost their defenses, get ready for whatever's coming.
That is so cool, a whole tree neighborhood watch. How far can these messages go?
We're still figuring that out, but it could be pretty far, hundreds of feet, maybe more.
So we got ancient fungi shaping the planet, giant ones hiding in plain sight, and trees having secret chats underground. What haven't these things done?
It's mind-boggling, their influence, right? But it gets even wilder if we look at humans and fungi. We're talking rituals, medicine, maybe even how our minds themselves evolve.
Okay, now we're talking about magic mushrooms, right?
Mm.
Those cave paintings, the ones in Algeria, people with mushrooms growing out of them. What's the deal with that? Okay, now we're talking about magic mushrooms, right? Those cave paintings, the ones in Algeria, the people with mushrooms growing out of them. What's the deal with that?
Those Teslina Giger paintings, they're incredible. Thousands of years old, giving us a peek into these ancient rituals and mushrooms. They're front and center, often with people, like shamanistic stuff.
Seems like we've been messing with these mind-altering fungi for a long, long time. How do we even figure that out? Just like someone took a bite and went, whoa.
Makes you wonder, right? One theory is our ancestors, they're out there foraging and oops, wrong mushroom. And then, well, things got interesting.
Talk about a game changer. But it wasn't just those ancient folks, was it? Weren't the Aztecs big on this too?
Oh yeah, the Aztecs used Kiona cattle, flesh of the gods, which we now know was psilocybin mushrooms.
Flesh of the gods, that's intense. What was their whole deal with these mushrooms?
Super sacred, used in ceremonies, trying to connect to the divine. We've got accounts from the Spanish describing the rituals, though they were pretty freaked out by it all.
It's sad, Something so central to their culture just dismissed like that. But it's not just the Aztecs, right? Magic mushrooms pop up everywhere.
All over Siberia, the Americas, tons of cultures using them for centuries at least. It's this weird echo throughout history, this pull these mushrooms have.
It makes you wonder, did they actually change us, like evolutionarily? I've heard the stoned ape thing, but I don't know.
It's a wild theory for sure.
Yeah.
The gist is, early humans eating these mushrooms while foraging.
And that somehow kickstarted our brains into becoming, well, us.
Exactly. Some say psilocybin, changing perception, boosting creativity, that feeling of connection. It could have been an advantage. Language, social bonds, even abstract thought, all because of a mushroom.
It's kind of beautiful and totally bonkers. But theory's a theory, right?
Absolutely. Healthy skepticism is key. It's super cool to think about, but we need more proof, more research. It's a whole world to uncover still.
Like you said before, it's like whispers from the past. But whether it's our food, our medicine, or even our minds, fungi, they've been there.
Totally. And even the everyday stuff. No yeast, no bread, no beer, no thank you.
Right.
Plus, let's not forget penicillin, from a mold no less, revolutionized medicine.
True. Game changer right there.
And that's just the start. Fungi are this treasure trove of potential for medicine, farming, even cleaning up pollution.
We're just getting started with these things. So as we wrap up, what's the big takeaway? What do you want our listener to walk away with?
Fungi aren't just mushrooms in the woods. They're vital to life itself, shaping the planet, maybe even shaping us. They show how connected everything is, if you just know where to look.
I like that. So next time you see a mushroom, or even mold on your cheese, take a second. There's a whole hidden world there, billions of years old, still full of mystery. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring.